And I think I was very clear that what I wanted from a partnership, from a marriage, from a relationship was more a partnership rather than just like a man-woman equation.
Yes.
Also, I had a head start in life because I had studied abroad. So my exposure was very different. My understanding was very different.
At heart and soul, we believe that love begins from within. Our mission goes beyond matchmaking. We guide people to find themselves first so that they can attract loving, lasting relationships. Our conversation today is part of our series on finding love and beyond, where we explore real life stories of people who have found love not by luck but through healing, growth, and making conscious choices. Joining us today is Achal Gupta Kalantri, a relationship coach who married in her 40s, breaking the stereotypes and inspiring many. Her story didn't follow the usual script. She worked on herself and unlearned the fairy tales sold by movies and embraced the truth that love takes work and so does marriage. Now, a mother, she embodies the message that it's never too late to find love when you truly know yourself. So, let's dive into her story from heartbreak to healing to partnership and parenthood. Thank you, Achal, for joining us today.
Thank you, Rima, for having me on your platform.
Let's start from the beginning. What was your relationship with love like in your 20s and 30s?
20s and 30s, Rima, for me was always very focused and very driven because I was very passionate about what I was doing.
Amazing.
I've been academically a fairly strong student throughout my education. I studied a master's at a time, going abroad at a time when girls were not really allowed. And when I came back, I was very focused and driven because I wanted to prove a point to myself. I wanted to work, I wanted to make something out of myself. And most of my 20s and 30s, I started my studio, I think, when I was 24, 25. And so I think all of my 20s and 30s went in building that.
Okay.
And while I always had it at the back of my mind, coming from a conventional Punjabi family, my parents were always behind my back. कि ढूंढना है, देखना है, करना है. I met a lot of people, but I think somewhere instinctively nothing seemed right. And, you know, every time I would meet somebody, I would be like, no. I didn't know why. I didn't know. It was a very subconscious decision. It was never that I was able to pinpoint because obviously
Okay.
I wasn't really digging deep. I hadn't really thought things through so much. But there was just a voice that kept telling me, no, this is not okay. This is not okay. To a point that I actually started believing at some point that is there something really wrong with me, or is it that I don't want to be with, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
or maybe I'm just, working too much, etc., etc. But yeah, so 20s and 30s for me were very, very, but I was very driven and I was really enjoying what I do and I really loved what I did. So I think that is how my 20s and 30s mainly went by. And there was really not that much space for love and relationships in my life at that time.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting to know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so you were mentioning studio, like it was like a dance studio that you started.
So I started Arts in Motion at the age of 24, and it was
Okay.
the first, it was a pioneer in the concept of dance studios in this country.
Okay.
So we were the first ones to bring to this country all the different styles of dances under one roof.
Okay.
And I've been very passionate about dancing, and I just wanted to proliferate dance. And for me, it was uh, something that I felt very deeply connected to. And I started my first studio at Sion, and then I built into three spaces across the city. And I think pretty much the most part of my life went by, frankly, the 20 years of my life from pretty much 24 to 44 went by
Okay.
in building and running Arts in Motion. And I've enjoyed every moment of it.
And so you started arts and in motion. Then how did you like become a relationship coach? What was that journey
I
like?
think that pivot happened during COVID.
Okay.
So the studio was obviously very, very demanding. I was pretty much single handedly running the studios, everything from the marketing, registration, business development, trainer management, everything was something that I overlooked on. And I was running three spaces by the end of it. By 2018, there were almost like there were three studios running.
Okay.
And I think it was also taking a toll on me. And then COVID happened. And COVID was such a beautiful break for me because I didn't know life. I didn't know an ideal life. I didn't know what it meant to not be taking 100 calls a day,
Okay.
firefighting, doing bookings. आज ये payment नहीं आया, आज वो नहीं हुआ, this
Yeah.
class, that class. So I think COVID for me was a very, very, very beautiful 1 year. And I think I really slowed down, a lot of introspection. And that is when I studied coaching because I did an online program. And I've always, anyway, been very interested in anthropology. So I think the study of relationships and a man-woman equation is something that I think that I was always very fascinated by. So I read up a lot on it. I studied a lot. I watched a lot. I followed a lot of the coaches, watched a lot of videos. And that's how I kind of slowly developed my study in this field.
That's so amazing.
Thank you.
That's very, very
And a lot of it also came from personal experience. I think the whole journey that I went through. So while I may say that, of course, I was running the studios and really enjoying my life, of course, I was also going through my whole share of personal challenges, being single in a world like this where,
yeah.
um, where society doesn't really accept a single woman that easily. I was traveling the world. I was living abroad partly. I was living on my own in Bombay. So there was just so much going on in my life. And there was, I'm sure, a fair amount of judgment that also came my way. So I was combating a lot of that while doing what I wanted to do i- at soul in my soul. So I think that a lot of it also came from a personal journey, and I just felt it's something that I would like to share with people. Just for people to know that it doesn't always have to follow a certain pattern, a certain age bracket. So that is how I came to this point of studying relationships.
Thank you for sharing that. So, if I would ask you, like, what were some of the personal patterns or beliefs that you had to confront before finding the right partner?
I think the biggest pattern for me was that I came from a very conventional Punjabi family. And I think, of course, as society expects certain, behavior out of women. Of course, at that time, even work was not that easily acceptable. Having studied abroad, I was a very ambitious person. I was very driven. I loved what I did. I was running a business at an age where, with due respect, I mean, boys from families were still trying to set up, take over businesses from dads, still learning the ropes. I was already doing this very independently. I was also not someone you could fit in a very domestic or conventional mold.
Okay.
So I think I also realized that I had my own personality traits which did not necessarily permit me fitting into a conventional family and being one of those gharelu bahu types.
Yes.
So I think that I did not want to create that kind. I always used to laugh. I said, it's not as much as how much I may need to adjust as it would be that my husband or a family or my in-laws would need to adjust to me.
Yes.
And therefore, I wanted to be very sure of what I was walking into.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's very interesting to know. And many people feel the pressure to settle by a certain age. So, how did you navigate that pressure while still staying true to yourself?
so again, like I said, that I had a very different personality. There was a lot that I wanted out of life. I really wanted to do a lot of things. I loved what I did. I wanted to travel. I had a lot of friends. I was really into fitness. I was into dancing. I was also doing a lot of, I've been part of the Rotary in a wheel. 7, 8, 10 years of my life I devoted to a lot of community service. So there was already a lot that I was doing from my life, and I think I was very clear that what I wanted from a partnership,
Okay.
from a marriage, from a relationship was more a partnership rather than just like a man-woman equation.
Yes.
Also, I had a head start in life because I had studied abroad. So my exposure was very different. My understanding was very different. I had parents who were very supportive. They never forced me कि भाई अभी ये age हो गया है तो now you have to get married to the next person that comes along. So I was a little ahead of my times in any case, and I wanted to be with someone who I loved, who was in love with me, who was willing to be a partner to me, who understood my journey, who understood my love for my work, who understood what I needed to do for myself, and at the same time gave me that space, that respect, so that I could fully be present in the relationship in the way that I wanted to be present. not just entirely, of course, ignoring the fact of, another person's needs. But here I'm just speaking for myself and my journey right now. Therefore, I'm saying that this is what it was. And I think that I was not willing to settle. I was not willing to settle for anything less than what I wanted. And I was not willing to settle. Like I told you, that subconsciously I kept feeling that this was not okay, this was not okay, this was. So I was just waiting for that time where I felt, okay, this is really right. And now I'm willing to take the plunge.
And how did it feel like when you actually met your life partner and have you
So I didn't really meet him. We had a very long journey of, we were in university together, known him since then.
okay?
And we've been friends on and off over the years. And it was just, I think it was a lot of comfort. And because, again, like I said, he knew who I was, he understood my personality, he understood my nature, he understood my need and my passion for my work. And I think it goes both ways because I understood his journey and why he came from the place that he came, and what he really wanted and needed from life.
Yes,
And I think that it was very easy falling into a relationship and marriage with him. So yeah,
that's lovely to hear.
thank you.
So,
It was based more on friendship than anything else. And I always believe
and I
that,
think most marriages should be based on friendship.
yeah, because you know what happens when you are friends with someone, then, of course, the romance is important, the chemistry is important. But when there's a friendship, then that becomes a very strong factor for, I would say, letting go of a lot of things, understanding the other person. A lot of things become like, chal, theek hai na yaar,
Yeah.
forget it, forget it. Like a lot of it also becomes that. And it just becomes very easy to just get into a routine, get into a pattern because you also just know each other
Yeah,
already, right? So there is a lot of difference, I think. And I just got lucky, perhaps. So
that's nice. So, what shifted internally that allowed you to attract a healthy, committed relationship?
I don't think there was any major shift as such. Like I said, that I think my shift was more external rather than internal
Okay.
because I just slowed down, like physically slowed down a lot during COVID. My mind and my mind space was so much freer than what it used to be earlier.
Okay.
I was very, very caught up all the time in running my studio, and because it was just administration, right? Like, so there was always something. There were bookings, there were payments, there was firefighting in terms of maintenance of spaces. There was just always so much to do
Yes.
that I think my brain space freed up a lot, and I was
Okay.
finally looking at life differently. And I think COVID did that for a lot of people. A
Okay.
lot of people pivoted their lives in COVID. A lot of people started careers, but I
Yeah.
think in my case, I started a personal life in COVID because then I just realized that also life is unpredictable and life is short.
Yeah.
And, you grab what you want from life and that it's never going to be perfect. It's what you make out of it.
Yes.
And I think that really helped in letting me just slow down, calm down, and ease into a relationship.
Okay. How different was your relationship from the idealized version shown in movies?
Yeah. Uh, so I'm a very practical person. With the whole business thing happening, and but I'm also a hopeless romantic at heart.
Okay.
So I think that I had my fair share of romance. I think it was truly magical. Um, Also because it was so special, it was so late in life. It was with a friend. So I think a lot of factors made it very, very beautiful and magical. So I would like to believe that it was very movie like. But of course, like every relationship's trajectory, uh, the romance doesn't necessarily fade. It fades, but not in a bad way. It starts becoming a routine, a rhythm, living with a person. Um, that was also fortunately fairly easy for me. Like I said, that because we already kind of knew each other a little bit before. And then, of course, every single day you are working at your marriage, right? Two people are very, very different no matter how well you've known each other.
Yes.
But, and especially at that late an age, because, I was very set in my ways, he was very set in his ways. So it's a very conscious decision you make every day of your life to make something work, because it's very easy to slide back and say that, okay, I am, I'm going back to my life and I don't need this kind of a thing.
Yes.
But it's a little, I would say it's a little harder at this age because there's a lot more that you need to let go of. Uh, So I think that is where then the movies fade and then the reality set in. Of course, in the movies, it just ends at happily ever after.
Yeah.
Nobody really tells you what happens after the happily ever
Yeah.
after. But like I said, it's a conscious decision every single day of your life to wanting to make it work.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that,
you're most welcome.
because that's like a really important point, you know.
Yeah,
People need to realize that,
yeah.
marriage does take a lot of work. It's not a fairy tale.
And your dynamics change, right? Like your dynamics change from a friend to a relationship to a wife and a husband, and eventually to parents also. Your relationship is constantly evolving. The idea is to evolve together. If you start evolving in different directions, and that's where the challenge arises. That you start evolving together, you want the same things out of life. That's when it becomes a lot easier.
So, what has marriage taught you that dating never could?
All of this, right? Like, so dating is, first of all, you don't live with the person when you date them.
Yes.
So it's very, very different because day to day, when you're with someone practically 24/7, your quirks, so many things, your living situations, your eating habits, your hygiene habits, your personal space, your work routine, your culture, your fitness routines or whatever. You would really have to find a way to blend all of this into your life. And especially when you're not that young.
Yes.
If you're 20, 21 and you've just come out of college and you get married, then you've really not gone that ahead in life where I was very set in what I had done, right? Because I'd already traveled the world, run my business, had tons of friends, uh, and so had he. So the thing is that then you just you have to find the rhythm,
Yes.
and I think that was very important. You have to let go of a lot, basically. Yeah.
So, when you say let go of a lot, what do you mean?
Like I said, no day to day adjustments. Like you can't have everything your way. There are a lot of changes you have to make in your own lifestyles. Uh, you're not footloose and fancy free anymore. So every decision can't be based on this is what I wish to do, or this is what I want to do, or this is what my life used to be. Because there is fact of the matter is there is another person in your life. It is a unit. You are not on your own. So a lot of mutual understanding, a lot of respect, a lot of honesty, trust building. All these factors are very important. So this is something that you kind of learn as you go along to work on eventually.
Oh,
You live and learn.
sure. So, becoming a mother later in life is deeply inspiring. So, how has motherhood reshaped your understanding of love and self?
Oh, so I don't know. I think for me, motherhood has been such a huge, I would say, the biggest blessing of my life, especially because it has come so late to me that I think it's something that I value so much. For me, every single day is a day that I don't want to let go of. I value each day with my child. I think it teaches you a lot of things. First of all, it tears your heart apart. You don't really know love until you become a mother. They say that. I finally understood what that means.
Okay.
Everything that you think, you say, you do, you want to build or not build, or every decision of your life is based on the impact that it's going to have on your child. At least for me, it does. And I think I felt love in a way that I have never known.
Okay.
And it also reduces your ability. It has hugely reduced my ability to tolerate a lot of excessive, frivolous parts of life that I think that I've really given up on. Also because I did everything in my life, and I've come to a point where for me, motherhood or being at home, diaper change, feeding does not seem like a sacrifice at all.
Yes.
It's something I find joy in.
Yes.
A lot for, of course, everybody has a different journey, right? So when you're younger, the world is ahead of you.
Yeah.
Your life is ahead of you, and there's so much more you want to do in your life, and you want to accomplish, and you want to travel, and you want to, do stuff with your spouse, whatever. So I always laugh. I said my life is Benjamin Button. I've done everything reverse. So I'm very happy being home and have a rhythm with my son. I'm very happy to stay up at nights. For me, I don't find anything traumatic. I don't find breastfeeding traumatic. I don't
Okay.
find being at home uh, a, I don't find it like it's cramping my space. I don't feel like I'm missing out on a social life. I don't feel any of that because I think I'm just so grateful that I've had the opportunity, and I really consider it as a blessing. And for me, each day matters, is precious.
And did you like, was it very challenging having a baby at
Oh yeah,
in
it was very yeah, it was very challenging because I went through a whole gamut of I'd frozen my eggs when I was younger,
Okay.
but none of that was easy. And then IVF was not easy at all. And the whole process of, hormones and medications and injections and all of that was a huge challenge. And while, of course, you know that, in IVF, not every cycle works, but every cycle that failed was a huge disappointment, was heartbreaking. So you go through all of that. You just try to stay focused on. And I think I'd reached a point where I had finally surrendered, and I said, this is it. This is the last one I'm going to do. And
Yes.
if I'm meant to have a child, God will find a way to give me. And if
Yes.
I'm not, then it's not going to happen.
And how long did it, if I may ask, take you to conceive?
I'd frozen my egg, so I think it was a 2 or 3 year process when I did my egg freezing because I did multiple cycles over a period of time. And then the whole unfreezing and the IVF process was also in a span of over a year, year and a half.
Okay.
So, of course, all of that took its toll on me. It also, the hormones play havoc with you. Age is not an easy factor.
Yes.
You're already in your 40s, your hormones are already acting up. Physically, I think the one thing that really worked for me was that I've been a very, very active and a physically fit person from my early 20s. I've been weight training, dancing, doing yoga, and I think all of that, God bless all of that time that I have invested in my fitness. I think that really helps sustain my ability during pregnancy and also post pregnancy. Now I think I bounced back a lot faster than most people do, even much younger women. So I think investing in your health is very important.
Okay.
And I think that really helped me. So
Wow, that's amazing. I love your spirit.
thank you.
What is one thing you wish more single people understood about finding love?
Been there, done that for many, many years, been single practically my entire life. You you got to be true to yourself. You got to be authentic, first of all. Uh, you can't put life on hold for anything or anybody. You have to keep investing in yourself. You have to keep growing as an individual, whether it's your studies, whether it's something, a career or not career, or whether it's something that you just choose to do because you're passionate about it. Whatever it is, you need to keep evolving. For me, I'm also a very deeply spiritual person. So I think you also need to keep growing as an individual, uh, because when you really are at a stage when you are fully dependent on yourself, and I don't mean necessarily financially or physically or whatever,
Yes.
but you're a you are your own universe. You're happy with your life. You're happy with the way things are. And I think love has a way of finding you at that point. I didn't go looking for love.
So
I mean, of course, I did my whole fair share of, arranged marriages or dating apps or whatever. And not necessarily any of that worked. But I think it just happened when the time was right. At no point did I stop the pace of my life. Um, Not that it was easy, none of that was easy. But I kept doing what I needed to do. I kept doing what I loved to do. I loved to train. Fitness was a very important part of my life. My studios were a very important part of my life. My friends were my friends and family, were a very, very important part of my life. I love to travel. I traveled the world and I did it on my own with my friends, whether single, whether however. Um, I wanted to do film school. I went and did that. I did everything that I wanted to do.
okay.
And I just became, it also helps your confidence.
Yes.
It also helps you to know who you are as a person. It helps you to understand what you want from your life, what you don't want. What are your deal breakers in life? You have to align intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, with another person. And only then, I won't say it will be easy, but
Yes.
it's a lot easier when you are, even intellectually and spiritually aligned. Your value systems are the same. What you want in your life ahead are the same. with evolution, with seeing the world, you also judge a person better. You're also more open-minded when you walk into meeting somebody. You are also more careful of falling for someone more easily. You're also more practical. A lot of factors. So I would just advise singles that keep doing what you want to do. Don't settle for anything less than what you want and what you desire. And when you find what you want, it's not going to be easy. You
Yes.
just have to keep working at it because you cannot bail at the first sign of trouble.
Yeah.
None of it is going to be easy. But yes, of course, two people have to want to make it work, right? It can't always be a one-sided game. So
One-sided game.
two people have to want to make it work, and also be very open-minded and practical. Dating is not easy. You meet a lot of people, you start getting attached to everybody, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak.
Yeah.
So you're very practical about what you want from your life, what you're willing to give in for, what you're not willing to give in to, what are your deal breakers. And I think that process you will understand only when you get to know yourself, when you've done your inner work, when you've done your dealing. We're, we, none of us have had easy childhoods. Always,
Yeah.
you, me, anybody, everybody has, uh, childhood. I won't say traumas, but everybody has something in their
Yeah.
childhood, in their earlier lives. You heal yourself. You heal your past. And when you do all of that, you come from a space of strength, emotional strength. And that's when, your probability of making a relationship work is a lot higher.
Thank you. That's amazing advice. Thank you so much. And lastly, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who feels like time is running out, what
Time
would
never
that
runs
be?
out. I got married at 44. I had a child at 46. I started a business at 24. I did social service in my 30s for 10 years. Like I said, I'm Benjamin Button. I did everything reverse. So, oh, wow. I'm like, I ran a business first, then I did social service, then I got married, then I had a baby. Time never runs out. You can find love at any age. And also, I would also go a step further and say that if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't believe that you need to stay unhappy in your life. I don't believe that you need to stay in situations uh, that demand you being untrue to yourself, that
Yeah.
demand you being unauthentic to who you are, where you have to compromise your values, where you compromise who you really are. Even then, even that is not workable.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, and I'm saying this particularly because I'm seeing a lot of people are getting divorced at this age, children are a little older, maybe people stuck out in bad marriages because of children or for whatever reason, but you can find love. You can
Yes.
find love again and again and again and again. You just have to be open to the idea. And if you don't, then there's enough in life uh, to be, to, m- you have, they say not, you take the lemons and make a lemonade out of it. So you take your situation and you make the best out of it, whether it's being with someone, not being with someone. And if love has to find you, it'll find you on its own. You just have to be open. And I also think you have to be very pure hearted to get lucky to be able to find love. You cannot, you have to keep your heart clean and pure and happy and open to receiving love and to giving love more than anything else. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So that's it for today's episode of Finding Love and Beyond. If you enjoyed today's conversation, share it with a friend or follow us on Heart and Soul Matchmaking Service. And until next time, stay curious and keep connecting. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Rima. Thanks. Bye bye.